Welcome back to MZ English. Let's talk. Contractions. These are shortened forms of verbs, but not all verbs. To make contractions, we shorten the word not by taking out the letter O and putting an apostrophe. Let's look at these words again. Remember, we have to break down the verb to be. Notice that am is the only part of the verb to be that does not change. It remains am not. Is not becomes isn't. Are not becomes aren't. Was not becomes wasn't. And were not becomes weren't. Remember also that the verb to have must be broken down. Have not, has not, and had not becomes haven't, hasn't, and hadn't. Cannot, do not, may not, must not, ought not, shall not, will not. Notice that cannot is one word. When we shorten these words, we get can't, don't, mayn't, mustn't, oughtn't. Shall not becomes shan't. Will not becomes won't. The past tense of these verbs look like this. Could not, which remains two words unlike its present tense cannot. Did not, might not, must not, remains must not. Ought not remains ought not. Should not, would not. When we shorten these words, they look like this. Couldn't, didn't, mightn't, mustn't, oughtn't, shouldn't, and wouldn't. Although in this era it is common to see contractions in writing, that should not be the case. Contractions should only be used when speaking. Let's try shortening the following verbs. Is not, have not, cannot. Isn't, haven't, can't. Ought not, will not, must not. Oughtn't, won't, mustn't. Did not, are not, has not. Didn't, aren't, hasn't. Let us shorten the verbs in these sentences. Steve is not St. Lucian. Steve isn't St. Lucian. We will not have practice tomorrow. We won't have practice tomorrow. Won't, or rather the verb will, is our operative verb. Therefore, we're not seeing the word not after the verb to have. You shall not have more dessert. You shan't have more dessert. I did not borrow money. I didn't borrow money. Sandra did not eat a cake. Sandra didn't eat a cake. Notice that eat is in the present tense and didn't is in the past tense. They did not watch turtles on the beach. They didn't watch turtles on the beach. Michael did not buy a gift. Michael didn't buy a gift. Notice that the verb buy is in its present tense and didn't is in the past tense. Thank you for joining me in this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you in the next. This is our final lesson on verbs.